Hey everybody, so I'm back doing the top 10 favorite films from each letter of the alphabet. Today is the letter H, and I know I've said this a couple times, but this one was actually really hard to do. In fact, right before I hit record, there were literally like 2 movies I kept going back and forth on the list. So that may even change before I even finish this video. So the first 2 on the list will not come as any surprise. First one is John Carpenter's Halloween. I mean, it's a classic. I don't think I can add anything that you guys don't already know. Definitely one of those that changed a lot as far as the genre goes, but also one that, you know, most of us celebrate every single year. I know I end every Halloween every single year watching it, so... Next up will also come as no surprise. In fact, I'm wearing the shirt, and that is Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. Another one I've expressed so much love for over and over and over again. You all know how much I love Halloween 3, so that was definitely a must on for this list. This is definitely one that I kept going back and forth on literally from even just a couple minutes ago. So I'm a big John Woo fan. I have been for the longest time. And I had Hardboiled on this list, and I also have Hard Target on this list. And I've decided to go with Hard Target. Some of you may be like, what the hell are you thinking? So this is basically what it came down to. So I will acknowledge that Hardboiled is the better film, and I love Hardboiled so much. I have to just admit the fact that Hard Target, I end up watching so much more. It's just so much fun. Again, Hardboiled, the better film. Hard Target, I just love watching over and over again. So because we're going with favorites over what we think is better, I am settled for Hard Target for the sake of this list. Next up is the most recent one, and also one I sort of went back and forth on, but I also have to acknowledge how much I really do love it, and that is Quentin Tarantino's The Hateful Eight. Now, I admit I'm a huge Quentin Tarantino fanatic, and I love all of his films, and it's just because his voice is one that really kind of speaks to me, one I can relate to. In fact, I remember something that people used to tell me in film school. They used to always be like, you know, you and Tarantino would be like best friends because we're so alike in so many ways. The way we love movies and the movies that we love. If that makes sense. Next up is a favorite of mine, and it's one of my top favorite films, and that is Michael Mann's Heat, a film that has been so influential for me and is just amazing every single time I watch it. In fact, there was one screenplay I wrote that definitely had a couple aspects to it that were very much inspired by parts of Heat. Just absolutely amazing. And I mean, easily that was one of the early ones I put on this list. Next up is Clive Barker's Hellraiser, and again, another one where it's like, I'm sure you guys kind of would know what I would say about Hellraiser. I mean, it's just such an amazing film, and kind of came down because I do love Hellraiser 2 a lot too, but there is something I think just so unique about the first film and what Clive Barker did with it. Next one I added towards the end, and then I was gonna like, you know, it wasn't on there originally, so I'm gonna take it off. I'm like, no, actually it fits perfectly. And that is Mel Brooks' History of the World Part 1. A film that I think is so hilarious, one I've watched a million times. Another film that has so many great lines, and lines that I use on a regular basis, literally all the time, whether or not people realize it or not. So I'm glad I did not forget that one off the list, because again, the moment I put it on, I was like, oh, it belongs here. Next up is Steve Miner's House, another one that I've loved since I was a kid. One of those horror comedies that I think really works, and one I used to watch like over and over and over again. As I got older, it's kind of a film that I thought like, maybe I'd sort of outgrow it in a way. I was like, no, every time I watch it, you know, I just love it all over again. Next up is House of Wax, the Vincent Price film, and this might be my favorite Vincent Price film. There's something so incredible about it. And when I think of Vincent Price, this is actually one of the first movies that comes to mind. Probably the one I've also watched the most. And it has special meaning for me because when I was really young, there was a local movie theater that was showing House of Wax, and they were talking about the 3D, and as a kid, I didn't know what 3D meant, and I remember my dad explaining it to me, and I begged him to let me go see it. So he took my sister and I to the theater to see it. That was my first 3D movie I ever saw, and I remember being so fascinated by it, you know, sort of taking the glasses off and putting them back on so I could see the difference and everything. So definitely a lot of meaning with House of Wax. And then finally, Joe Dante's The Howling. I've mentioned before, I'm a big werewolf fan. In fact, I watched The Howling again, I not too long ago, and just like it loses nothing. What I still love about The Howling is that parts of it that still freak me out even to this day. And I think especially now I really appreciate the dark humor of it that I didn't understand when I was younger. And even though American Werewolf in London is my favorite werewolf film, The Howling is definitely a very close second. So that's it for the letter H. Definitely a hard one to do, and even then I'm still kind of not 100% sure on all of them. So definitely let me know your 10 films that start with the letter H. Obviously keep an eye out for the next one. We'll hopefully be up tomorrow with the letter I. And as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one.